I've been in this business for only 12 years, and Maggie's the first person I met who had a spinal cord injury. I mean, we all think about some time in our life what it would be like to lose your mobility and have your life change as dramatically as it did Maggie's. I don't know, Maggie's just a really neat person, and we got calls from the Children's Hospital in Winnipeg that she was coming into our care, and so I knew that we were going to have a long relationship. She started coming for therapy, and she was just, I don't know, she just has a wonderful personality, and I was very attracted to her. She's clever and intelligent and pretty upbeat for a young person facing her challenges. She's just a positive, smart person, and there's a lot of things that she's not able to do, but there's still a lot of things that she can do. I think the biggest challenge for people with physical disabilities is the physical environment. It's like there are a lot of places people can't get into, certain businesses, buildings, homes especially, and that over time people I think stop trying and they just figure I can't go there, so I'm not even going to bother trying. What makes me frustrated is I would love to have Maggie at my house. I would love to be able to pick her up and take her out to my home, but I can't do that. I don't have an accessible vehicle, I don't have an accessible home, and that's the kind of thing that I think about. There's lots of things that Maggie can do, but because of the limitations of our physical environment, she is unable to visit people in their homes and do a lot of those things that we take for granted. She's attracts people to her because of her personality.
My name is Maggie Sophia, and this is my story, my past, my present, and my life-changing experience. On July 12, 1989, it was the day I was born. Before my mother gave birth to me, my mother, Janet Sophia, was 39 years old. She had serious complications at the time. She had very high blood pressure and liver failure. The doctors had to do an emergency C-section. Mom was 7 months pregnant, so I was 2 months early when they saved my life. I was 3 pounds premature baby. It was a miracle that both me and my mom survived. My father, Solomon Sophia, signed my birth certificate and took me as his own daughter. But he's not my biological father. My biological father is Danny. Let's just say everything happens for a reason. I hardly talk to Danny because he has his own family. I'm glad that Solomon is my father. I have 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters from my mother's side. I also have 2 younger brothers and 1 younger sister from my biological father's side. I grew up in a small reserve in Summer Beaver, located in the northwestern Ontario, Canada. In my Ojibwe language, it's pronounced Nibinamik. The only way to get there is by plane or take a very long drive on a winter road. In my reserve, there are about 350 people and dirt roads with no sidewalks. Living in Summer Beaver, I remember the good times and the bad times, especially the beauty. I was surrounded by nature. My favorite memory is when I was 10 years old. I loved to ride my bicycle by myself. It was just before the sun was setting down. I rode to the top of the hill, which overlooked the reserve, the lake, and the trees. I sat down on a soft sand and watched the sun setting as I wondered what the future holds for me. It was a spiritual moment for me. I love our traditions. Summer camping is one. We would take our motorboats to campsites with sandy beaches or anywhere that boats could land. We would sleep in white tents. I remember my mom teaching me how to snare a fish. She takes a long pole and attach a wire snare to the end. It takes a lot of patience and skills to catch a fish with a snare. I like playing all kinds of sports. I like to play ice hockey and broomball. My favorite game was capture the flag. My best friends are Cheryl and Dawnstar. They are my closest cousins, and we were like sisters. Growing up, we were always together. The bad things I remember were the suicides. The first person in my generation that committed suicide was my cousin Dwayne. When I was 7 years old, I remember feeling the atmosphere changed. I ran and hid in a small room, and I felt sad and scared. Since then, I've lost 7 of my cousins to suicide. The Creator gave us life. And on June 23rd, 2001, when I was 11 years old, my life would drastically change forever. It was the beginning of summer. My family and I joined with my relatives, including my 2 cousins, to go camping that weekend. We went to the campsite called Meg's Cabin, 2 hours away from the reserve. We packed all of our camping gears. I remember helping my parents push the wheelbarrow to the boat, which was on the shore. My dog, Buddy, always followed me around. My dog always waited for me to come back if we went away in a boat. When we arrived late that evening at the campsite, some of my relatives got there early. My family and I unpacked our camping gear, and my mother and sister prepared a late supper. I always asked my mom's permission to go swimming, and my mom said it was okay for me to have a late evening swim. I remember I was swimming and playing near the dock with my cousins, 2 of my nieces, and my nephew. My niece, April, who was 7 at the time, wasn't diving the right way. She was doing belly flops in the shallow water. I told April she was diving the wrong way, so I showed her how to dive the right way. I dove into the shallow water backwards, and I thought it was safe to dive in. Suddenly, I hit my head on a rock. At that moment, I couldn't move, feel, or breathe. I felt weird, and I couldn't feel the bottom of my body. 2 of my cousins, Cheryl and Dawnstar, rushed over me and pulled me out of the water. Then they called for help. Everyone ran to help me and get me off the beach to dry land. When they were moving me, I told my auntie, Daisy, who was a nurse, that I couldn't move at all. Daisy told the adults that I need to lay on a flat wooden board just to prevent further damage. They called for emergency help by radio. They put me on a faster boat that took 1.5 hours to get to Summer Beaver. When I got to the reserve, I went straight to the nursing station. I had to spend the night in the nursing station, and the plane came the next morning to take me to Children's Hospital in Winnipeg. From then on, my world changed.
You know, just something that turns you around completely. Like couldn't believe it, That's hard to believe that Maggie was hurt, and felt like my life just changed. And I ended it, like I can't do anything like I used to do before, and I can't do anything like that anymore. So it's pretty hard for me in the beginning. And I still find it pretty hard. With my family, my children, my grandchildren, I can't be with them. I can't help them. I feel helpless. But still, a lot of times I thought about just, going somewhere, not coming back. That's how I feel a lot of times. I wouldn't mind if I was living in a smaller town, like smaller place. But when we came down, we hardly knew anybody. Back home, we had everything. We had boat and snow machines, just everything. And we had to give them all away because nobody was there to live in our house. That's our house. We had to give it away. Then we had to start over again. Like when we first got here, took Maggie out, I only had a small bag of whatever I had, clothing. That's all I ever took with me. I didn't have anything when I first got out from Summer Beaver. And a lot of people gave some stuff like furniture to us. I didn't have anything. I don't know. I was pretty shocked, and I didn't even. I wasn't even thinking. Like my mind wasn't even right. It's pretty shocking to see you like that. What? They didn't want you. You were 11 years old, and it's pretty hard for you to let you go by yourself. But when we got to the hospital and had to see how you were, and then they told me that how you were hurt and you broke your neck and you'll never walk again or move again. That's when I called Dad to come down to stay with me over there at the hospital. Because I broke down and I couldn't handle what the doctor was telling me, how you are, how you're going to be. They told me that in a couple of days' time you might be gone, because your lungs collapsed and everything. You stopped breathing. Through prayers, and we asked for prayers, from a lot of people that we know, the Christian people. They did all the prayers for us from up north and my mom. So I got my strength. Went to church every Sunday with somebody from Winnipeg, Terry and David. They were a lot of help. They helped us a lot with financially and groceries and stuff like that. That guy owned a wholesale store, so he gave us a lot of food from there. It helped us a lot. From people in Winnipeg, that's what we brought here with us. Even the doctors or the nurses, They gave lots of stuff for us what to use over there, which was good. Because at first we didn't have anything. No, both of us were working, so just everything just stopped. My husband just stopped working. He hasn't worked since we got out from Summer Beaver.
I spent my time recovering for almost a year in Winnipeg Children's Hospital. When I was there, I wrote this poem. I am a smart girl who loves my mom. I wondered if I'll get a CD player for Christmas. I hear the cars outside on the street. I see the sun glowing through the window. I want a smart puppy for Christmas. I am a smart girl who loves my mom. I pretend that I am a scientist who studies chemicals. I feel lonely without my friends. I touch my mom whenever I get a big hug. I worry that I might not go home. I cry for my hometown. I am a smart girl who loves my mom. I understand that I am here in the hospital. I say to my mom that I love her. I dream about going home with my family and friends. I try to make myself feel better. I hope that I go home. I am a smart girl who loves my mom. On December 2003, that was the day that my best friend, my cousin, Dawnstar, who helped save my life, committed suicide. She just turned 14 years old. Today, I am 21 years old, and I live in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. Some of my family lives here with me. My family is important to me because they support me and they care about me. Although I am dependent on others for personal care, I am an independent woman. Currently, I am going to Confederation College, taking a program academic upgrading till the end of August. In September, I'll be taking a post-secondary program called film production. Should I say I'm an ordinary woman with extraordinary dreams?
That's in there, isn't it?
Yeah, but this one's a different one. We kind of changed it up.
What's it say? Yours say?
Girl.
Girl.
Want girl or woman?
Woman.
You want woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an ordinary woman with extraordinary dreams. My goals are to be a film director, hopefully to make films about people with physical disabilities, and maybe win some awards. Also, my goal is to go to university and take neuroscience or indigenous learning. I would also like to be a hockey coach. Next year, I want to go back home to Summer Beaver, and for the first time to go back to the campsite where my accident happened. I miss my community, and I believe this will give me some closure.
Well, I hope Maggie pursues her film career because I think she has a lot of talent and she comes from a place that, being, using a power chair. I mean, her life is different than anybody I know, and so I think her perspective will be very, very interesting. And I look forward to having a long, long friendship with Maggie.